pet theft now in the company of Dr. Daniel Allen. Dr. Allen is an animal lover. He's an animal geographer. What is an animal geographer, Doctor?
Oh, it's looking at the cultural significance of animals around the world.
The cultural significance of animals. Now, we're going to tell the story of an 11-month-old pug called Pixie, who went missing in July 16th last year from a flat in Dundee. Pixie was last seen safe that same day at the home of her owner, Kelly, who left the animal in the care of her flatmate, Andrew Alexander. So, eyewitnesses then reported, after the dog disappeared, seeing the dog, or dog matching Pixie's description, being hit in the face and then being carried lifeless by a man through the streets of Dundee towards a bridge over the River Tay. Then construction worker Andrew Alexander, who was Kelly's flatmate, was then fined £250 after being convicted of stealing the dog, right? But there was no admissible evidence that he'd killed and mistreated the animal, so he faced no charges in relation to this. What's your view on that, Doctor?
It's absolutely disgusting, isn't it? It's kind of showing the fact that, pets have no protection from the law when they're stolen. They're basically just treated as property, and the sentencing which is being handed down is just ridiculous. It's there's no deterrent whatsoever. A £250 fine. It's not just happening up in Scotland. It's happening in England and Wales and Northern Ireland. There's been other examples. Betty and Harry, another dog, 2 pugs basically were stolen. The thief went to court, £200 fine, £400 costs, and got a drug rehabilitation order. Another dog more recently was stolen by an Amazon driver. He got a 12-month community order. And basically what's happening is dog theft is increasing. It's seen as a low-risk, high-reward crime. And the reason for that is because the laws aren't up to standard. They're based on the Theft Act 1968, almost a 50-year-old law, and it's not taken into account that pets are family and they're sentient beings, and there needs to be proper sentences in place to ensure that, these people actually don't do this.
But they're also worth money, of course, as well. And you point out that we've got to change the current penalties for all of this sort of thing, including animal cruelty. It's just not taken seriously by politicians, is it?
It doesn't appear to. I know at the moment, obviously, that with Brexit, everything's gone down the pecking order in terms of what's important. There are politicians from all parties who are very much interested in animal welfare and changing the laws. There's been a number of recent changes in relation to like Lucy's Law, Mark Abraham, things such as Finn's Law with Dave Wardell and Finn, the police dog. These things are coming through. There's this increase from 6 months to 5 years for animal welfare cruelty. Animal cruelty is meant to be coming in at some point soon. Pet theft is something which has totally been, forgotten, I think, by the politicians, and it's something which affects. It can affect every single one of us. We need pet theft reform to help.
So you've got. Well, you have this. You run this campaign on social media. #Pet Theft Reform. You have got the 100,000. You have a petition. You've well over the £100,000 signatures required and all of that. Because of Brexit, you say it's kicked down the pecking order. You're still waiting for a debate to happen about that. But this causes real pain, real heartache, and actually, I worry about putting my dog on social media, because you think, are you making your animal a target? And the point we're making about these animals is these animals to people are just like family members, completely like family members.
Of course, and that's the thing. The reason I've started this campaign with the Stolen Missing Pets Alliance was because I'd heard so many stories from so many people about the heartbreak they've experienced from having their pets stolen. And it's something which, you need to sort of take that to the next level so the MPs can hear those stories and start thinking about the very simple ways in which they can get to pet theft reform. So the petition you mentioned, this is the second one. We had one last year as well, which got debated in Parliament. So there's 2 routes to pet theft reform. The first is to reclassify the theft of a pet to a specific crime itself. So you basically, stealing a bike, there's a category for stealing a bike within the Theft Act. There's nothing, in terms of the sentencing, there's not for pets, there's not for dogs or cats. That's something which could be done relatively easily through sentencing guidelines to increase sentences. The other one, which we're hopefully going to be debated in November by politicians, is to amend animal welfare law to make pet theft a specific offence. So that way you can sort of, see the fact that animals do go through fear, they are alarmed, there's distress. It's not just about monetary value. So there is a welfare issue where these animals are actually stolen. And we've got 117,000 signatures. It's something which, lots of support from yourself, Eamon, and lots of other high-profile figures. And it's just something which, there's two routes to do this, and they're both relatively easy. The Animal Welfare Act is changing. It's being reformed anyway. It's being revised. Stick pet theft in there. When venison goes...
Can I ask quickly, so that we don't get to the point, or try not to get to the point where we're dealing with pet thieves, what can owners do? What are practical things that pet owners can do to stop their pet being stolen? Are there kind of number one tips that you've got for listeners?
Yeah, definitely. In terms of being pet theft aware, you need to have, there's various prevention tips. So in terms of never leaving your dog unattended, outside of shops, in supermarkets, in cars, vans and so forth, make sure you're always with them. Securing your house, your garden, outside kennels, make sure that's all safe and secure. Checking gates and lights. You can add CCTV camera to your property. So there's various things, but what's been happening also is there's been various burglaries and people are breaking into homes which are highly protected, and dogs are being taken from there because as Eamon mentioned, they are worth money.
Yeah.
The reason they're being stolen is because people can make 25 quid in a pub, or they might keep them for years.
And then you get this awful situation of Kelly from Dundee then as well with Pixie. I mean, she just asked someone to mind the dog in the form of Andrew Alexander, and I mean, you can't really legislate against that, can you?
No, you can't. And there needs to be justice for Pixie. I know there's a hashtag justice for Pixie. I think there's a few kind of petitions out there for that as well, which people should be signing. No, you can't. There's always going to be people that are involved in criminality and abuse and so forth. And when that is the case, there needs to be some kind of sentencing in place to ensure that they are punished for what they do. And a £250 slap on the wrist is not punishment enough, in my opinion.
Okay. Thank you very much indeed. If you want to follow, that's Dr. Daniel Allen there, and his petition. He's petitioned Parliament. He's got his 100,000 signatures. Hashtag pet theft petition if you want to add your views